A New Zealand food story is brought to you by the Balance Farm Environment Awards.
Ahi's been open for 18 months now. I'm super proud of what we've achieved, but now I want to move on and discover what's next for this restaurant. We have to unearth more things in this country. I know they're out there. I know there's some amazing suppliers. How can I be the best I can be if I don't go visit these people? If I don't go learn from them, understand the ingredients? You can't find the answers to those questions in the restaurant, on the hotline, sweating your bollocks off, plating food every night. We have to get out there. So we're gonna. That's what we're doing. This week I'm in the stunning Bay of Plenty. Known for its long summers and mild winters, this is a grower's paradise, producing the finest, nutrient-rich ingredients desired all over the world. While many Kiwis have recently taken to smashed avocados, they've been grown in the Bay of Plenty for over 3 decades. Oh, I love avocados. Hi, guys.
Morning.
How are you?
Welcome to Assenry.
These marvellous trees were planted in 1980, with a second planting in 1992, spanning 2.8 hectares. And if you want to know about avos, you've got to go see Anne-Marie, Kevin and Rochelle. Should we go have a look at the orchard?
Sure thing.
Talk to me about the process there.
The annual life cycle of an avocado is it flowers in October, November, and it matures through for the whole of 12 months. So it's quite a challenge to hang that fresh produce on a tree for up to 14 months and then present it as a sound product.
So it's susceptible to weather and climate
Yes.
and insects and
Yes.
birds. So are there juvenile avocados on the tree at the same time as mature avocados?
Yes.
I always wondered because it always looked like there was 2 seasons happening, but it's just next season are the small ones.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just such a clever tree that you can have mature fruit right next to baby fruit. It's quite unusual, isn't it?
Yeah.
How are the trees pollinated?
Mostly bees.
Yeah.
We hire honey hives
Yeah.
for the flowering period,
Yeah.
which is October through to end of November.
Avocado
Yeah.
honey tastes good?
Yes.
Does it really?
Yes.
I never really had
Quite
that.
oily.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Could be a new thing for us, right?
Yeah.
Avocado honey, wow. How long does it take from when you pick them to when we should be eating them as the customer?
If they're unrefrigerated, they'll probably take about 10 days from
Yeah.
the moment that you snip them
Yeah.
to when they're ripe to eat.
Yeah.
But if we want to export them, we've got to chill them down
Yeah.
to 5 degrees, I think it is, and then you can ship them, and it's about 3 weeks that they have to get to the market.
Yeah.
So these are the feeder roots. So the bulk of the nutrients for the tree are taken up in the surface.
Wow, look at the soil, so healthy. Look at the worms. While the avocados have a life cycle of a year, it's amazing to think some of these trees were planted in the same year I was born. So this is a 1980 tree?
Yes.
It's my birth year, you know, so
Rightio.
it's like
I can do the maths.
yeah, there you go. It's sort of like, I don't know, having a bottle of whiskey or a bottle of wine from your birth year, and now I get to have an avocado from my birth year, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, we could turn you loose and you take as many as you want.
Yeah, you won't have to ask me twice, I tell you. I've always wanted to be on one of these. What do the feet things do?
Lift in
Yeah.
the middle is lift and lower.
Lift and
that
lower.
Right and left feet is your turning.
Okay. How high does it go?
8 metres, this one.
8
Or is
metres?
it 6? Oh no, this
Gotta
is
get
a
it.
6. If anything goes wrong, just lift your feet up.
Oh, it's pretty easy.
You're a natural. You're a natural, a man of many talents.
That's what my wife says, buddy. Whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right, yeah.
it goes the opposite way.
No, it doesn't. You can take home what you pick.
Oh, really? Now I'm going to move my ass.
You're limited to 10 minutes.
The hydro ladder is perfect for tricky orchard picking, if you know how to control it. And in about 10 hours, if you know what you're doing, you can harvest over 3 tonne of perfect avocados.
You can start lowering any time you like. If you're hanging on very tight, you're allowed to let go. Keep going.
That's fun.
You can start Monday.
Wow, don't tempt me.
We've got a new crew, guys.
I'm not going back to the restaurant, I'm going to be an avocado picker. After being offered a job, it's time to celebrate with, what else? Good old Kiwi guacamole.
Originally we were sheep and beef farmers and we were sort of struggling really, so we decided to sell up. My father used to grow avocados, so he brought up a box to us. We lived north of Auckland. One of our neighbours, little girl, I remember going out for dinner once and her mother asked, Amelia, do you want ice cream or an avocado? And Amelia went, oh, I have an avocado. And I went, really? She chose an avocado over ice cream? There's got to be a future in this fruit.
So avocados, they're like a superfood, right? What makes them so awesome?
They're amazing. They're such a high in nutrition. I think there's about 20 different minerals and vitamins that are in avocados. They are higher in potassium than a banana, and they're full of magnesium. It fights the cholesterol, also full of fibre. So, you know, it's actually the perfect food. It's a great first food for a baby, and kids love them.
They do, right? Yeah, my daughter she just can't stop eating them. It's crazy.
Yeah. Coming of age 20 years ago, I remember I gave one to my mother-in-law down in the South Island, and she looked at it and she said, do I peel it before I cook it?
Yeah, our diet's changed in New Zealand, hasn't it?
They're kind of funny though, like there's so much luxury and decadence when you eat an avocado. You know, you can have something that's delicious but also something that's so good for you. So they're quite unique in that respect.
Cheers.
Wonderful.
It is the perfect fruit, isn't it? It does not have one bad thing about it.
No,
it's got not one negative point.
No, true.
It's like perfect. Coming up, I get offered another job, stumble upon some black gold, and it's time for dessert. The Bay of Plenty is renowned for its horticultural trailblazers. And there are few orchards as special as Win and Chris Daniels' macadamias in Katikati. Love it.
Hey,
Hi,
Win, how are you,
Ben.
Ben?
Good to see
Nice
you,
to
mate.
meet you.
I love.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Welcome to Harbourside Macadamias.
Thanks for having me. Win and Chris made the unusual decision to plant macadamia trees alongside their kiwi fruit. It was a bold one, as it takes at least 10 years for the trees to produce enough nuts to sell commercially.
Okay, Chris, they might want to ride here.
So how many macadamia nut trees do you have on your
Just
orchard?
on 1,000.
So how old are these trees here?
These were planted in 1994.
Wow.
Okay, the flowering occurs in September, October, and the bees love them because they're rich in nectar.
Yeah. They're gorgeous little things, aren't they?
Yeah. All our varieties drop their nuts when they're ready so that we don't have to shake the tree unless you bang into it inadvertently, which enables us to harvest from the ground, which is fortuitous because the alternative is to have to climb up on the tree and pick them, and it's a hideous and expensive job. Our ethos is that we produce one of the world's wonder foods, and we do it with food safety, sustainability and ethics.
Fantastic. Everywhere I go in the Bay, I seem to be welcomed with open arms and a job to do. This machine takes some of the hard work out of it though. It's like pushing a pram, isn't it?
Well, it's a good walking frame too.
Once the nuts have been picked up, it's time to go and play pinball. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Right. So any that have got the green husk still on, they go in one bucket, and the others go through. Great.
Oh, so I was taking the green ones and you were taking...
Any rejects?
Any
it's
rejects,
Just started,
yeah.
Cracked ones.
So this is a bin full
Oh,
of
wow,
nuts.
that's awesome.
There's warm air going through there. Comes out through mesh floor at the bottom. As soon as you've harvested, you whip the husk off, and as soon as you've done that, you start the drying process.
So you don't leave the macadamias on the ground for too long?
No.
A big part of the sustainability here is the boiler, which is where the heat for the drying process comes from.
This is a 33 kilowatt pellet fire that so happens to run on macadamias fortuitously.
It's amazing.
So we recover all this as part of the nut cracking process. As you can see, so the nuts are just trickling into there.
And you can hear it feeding in, right?
Yeah.
You know, we should do a dish where we cook some food over macadamia nut skins. That'd be awesome.
Could be done.
I wonder if they impart like a nice flavour. You know how you buy like a real nice charcoal?
Well, there are people who acquire the shell from us to smoke fish.
Oh yeah, great. After hard work and persistence, Wyn and Chris are now one of New Zealand's largest producers of this superfood, and they couldn't deserve it more. My whirlwind tour of the Bay of Plenty continues, with one of the most enchanting ingredients on the menu, truffles. Hi!
G'day.
How are you? How you been? Hey, Maureen. How's things?
Yeah.
How's things, all right?
Yeah, good, Colin. How are you?
Good. Excellent, excellent.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're
No problem.
really happy to have you here.
You're welcome.
Been wanting to come for ages.
Yep.
So it's not the season for truffles.
Yep.
But we can see the trees and learn about how the trees are inoculated with the truffle spores, and there's lots of questions around truffles. I mean, it's just a fascinating topic, isn't it?
It is. It's mysterious. It's addictive.
Yeah.
It's lots and lots of work. And, I mean, I guess I'm a trained librarian, so every book that I can find on truffles and growing truffles and cookbooks using truffles, I just accumulate. And the amount of knowledge that people are getting about truffles is growing year by year.
So how many truffle farms are in New Zealand?
Nobody knows because it is quite secret quite, the secret handshake almost.
But it's no secret that truffles are the edible spores that grow on an underground fungus. In order to grow, the soil must be very specific, almost like it has magical properties. Why does New Zealand grow great truffles?
I think we've got different terroir. I mean, you look at New Zealand, it's if you rolled it out in a rolling pin, it would be a huge place. But we've got little niche growing areas.
Here he is with the frozen jar.
Do you have a sniff of that?
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
It's huge. So this is the black Perigord
black
truffle.
Perigord.
It's got to be the most expensive ingredient that we use in the kitchen.
Yep.
And when I lived in France and England back in the days, I never thought that I'd ever be able to see this in New Zealand.
Yeah.
This is the black gold, so how much per kilo? Is it still 4,000 a kilo?
Oh, we've never sold it at that.
We want people to taste it, so we charge less. So.
Great.
I think my aim, if I've got an aim, is that anyone in New Zealand who wants to taste black Perigord truffle gets the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, should we get out into the orchard? How do you say? What do you call it?
Truffier.
Truffier. Should we go to the Truffier?
Let's
Why
go
not?
to the Truffier.
Yep.
Let's do it. Maureen and Colin's Truffier is made up of hazelnut and oak trees, which are staggered in rows. This is to allow the right amount of shade and sunlight for the truffles to get, well, truffling.
Here you can see the beginning of a brulee.
What's a brulee?
It's a burnt area where the mycorrhiza are starting to work. And
Burnt area, so
Yeah.
the grass has been killed.
yeah.
So what's happening is the mycorrhiza on the roots is activating, sending out its mycelium. So basically the nutrients that's using to feed the trees is actually killing off the grass.
Yeah.
There's no guaranteed way of doing anything with truffles. Everything is still under experimentation.
Yeah.
Even the scientists are finding different things, like to create a truffle, you have to have negative and positive genomes, or male and female, in the spores. So what they found was that the trees that have been producing and then stopped producing, the males had all left home. They're gone, just disappeared. So
They wised up.
Only females.
So females.
only females there, and that was it. They stopped producing.
And you can see the oak trees that started off as little twigs in 2008.
Yep.
2008 we planted 212 little tiny twigs with little shelters, and now we've got these huge trees. I mean, this for us was just, well, why don't we give it a go? And it's been an amazing journey.
Luckily for us, Te Puke truffles are still producing each year. And fingers crossed, we will see plenty more nuggets of black gold from the Bay of Plenty in the future. Like you can just see, it's magical, isn't it? It's got like a great aura.
Yeah.
It's like got an energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Coming up, I have the privilege of tasting the world's best vanilla and cook the most decadent meal so far. Heilala Vanilla is based in the Bay of Plenty, but its origins began in 2002 as an aid project. Tonga had been ravaged by Cyclone Waka, so John Ross partnered with a local family in the village of Utanake and established a small vanilla plantation that is now the world-renowned Heilala Vanilla.
Jennifer.
Hi, Ben.
How are you?
Good, great to see you.
Same here. So this is the vanilla winery?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Wow,
it looks like
awesome.
a little mini winery. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So when people think of vanilla, they think of just that flavour of vanilla.
Yeah.
But there's actually 200 flavour compounds. So the process that we do, the cold extraction over sort of 6 weeks to 3 months, draws out all of those compounds. And we follow really strict FDA standards for vanilla extract, which are all set in the States, the home of vanilla.
Wow.
So to be defined as a vanilla extract, it has to be 35% alcohol. There's no confusion in America with pure extracts and essences, like essences don't exist. So they're kind of like vanilla connoisseurs.
Wow, so their ice cream, their vanilla ice cream in America actually has vanilla beans
Actually has
in it.
real vanilla, and there's been cases of, you know, like in New Zealand we have vanilla ice cream that has the flour on the front and it contains no vanilla.
It just boggles my mind,
Yeah.
right?
So they come in from Tonga, we dice up the beans and then they go through the extraction process.
Wow.
So this tank here has just been emptied, so the vanilla extract's been pulled off it, so it would have been in there for sort of 2 months.
If America is the home of vanilla, the spiritual home of Heilala is Tonga.
Obviously, vanilla grows in really warm climates.
Yeah.
I know that much.
20 degrees either side of the equator.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And your vanilla's famous because it comes from Tonga.
Tonga, yeah. The vanilla beans are all dried and cured in Tonga, sun-dried, so we do it the traditional way. And then they're like hot water dipped. And again, we still do it the traditional way. And then they're wrapped up in blankets and put into a sealed container for a couple of days where it starts the fermentation process.
And so you have business partners there that are Tongan?
Yeah,
Who are they?
and they're like family to us.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
When the beans arrive from Tonga, the extraction process begins, and it hits you as soon as you walk in.
Woo! The aroma is so strong, so much booze in there. It's sort of like sniffing a shot before you do it, you know? Be a good staff party here, right?
Once it's extracted, it goes through a heat process to make the most decadent vanilla paste, which we now use in the restaurant.
Our paste is quite unique because it's 1 teaspoon is 1 vanilla bean equivalent.
Wow.
Other pastes are like 1 tablespoon. It was assessed in the Singapore tasting panel that they did all the paste tests, blind tasting, and ours was deemed to be the closest to a vanilla bean. So a good vanilla bean, you should be able to wind around your finger like a ribbon, and it should just come out. There's a lot of vanilla beans, you wind them around your finger, they'd snap, they'd be like toothpicks.
Ah, so it's not, it's dried, but not too dry.
After 20 years, Heilala has got their business down to a fine art, and they are the #1 seller of vanilla on Amazon.
America's like the home of vanilla, so that is quite a coup that New Zealand company being the best
from
vanilla.
the bottom of the world, taking vanilla to America is quite crazy, and a lot of people thought, oh, how are they going to do this? But we found our home in America in New York, went into some awesome kitchens in the world, 11 Madison Park, Gramercy Tavern, Nomad Hotel,
So hang on a sec, so 11 Madison Park use
#1 restaurant in the
Heilala
world,
vanilla.
use Heilala.
That epitomises the New Zealand food story in a way, you know, people like you guys just crushing it overseas, and you know, you see the New Zealand wine really being so successful over the world.
They've probably paved the way a little bit because a lot of Americans know about New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, and now it's time for New Zealand food.
The back of the knife.
Back of the knife.
Look at that.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's just 1/2. They call that vanilla caviar.
Never mind making custard from powder. Time to make a Whole Foods custard from 4 pure ingredients.
Oh, I'm going to have to repeat this on Christmas Day.
Egg yolk, cream, sugar, and the most awarded vanilla in the world.
Once the custard's cooked, we want to cool it down very quickly. And one of the best ways to do that is to pass it through a sieve. If you leave your custard in a pan after it's cooked perfectly, obviously the heat's going to keep cooking and you'll end up with sort of like sweet scrambled eggs with vanilla. Your milk will start to steam at around about 60 odd degrees, so we know we're there. As soon as it hits 80, you'll really see a change in viscosity. And at that point, we want to stop the cooking process, and the sieve will also pass out the vanilla pods. Yeah, that's pretty good. No more custard powder. We have to make it fresh.
So this apple crumble is a Cloudy Kitchen recipe. So she's a Kiwi. She was based in New York. She's got a huge following on Instagram, and she's a great Hey Lala supporter.
Dive in there, look at that.
Wow.
And so how did it all start?
My dad celebrated his milestone birthday up in Tonga, so we all went up there as a family. And by the end of the trip, we'd fallen in love with Vava'u in the Northern Islands. After he came back, there was a cyclone Waka on New Year's Eve 2001, 2002. And the family that he'd come to know in the village where he'd spent a lot of time, their house was really, you know, decimated. And the head of the village said to him, what can we do to provide livelihoods and employment for our community and my family in the village? And vanilla had grown there in the past. So that sort of set us on our journey, really. We now have over 300 vanilla farmers in Tonga that grow vanilla. So in 2018, we planted 100 acres of vanilla, which is the biggest vanilla plantation in the South Pacific. And our aim for that is, when it's in production, is that we will be able to employ 200 women.
Wow.
So it's a great thing for women, vanilla, because it's not physically demanding and it requires attention to detail and finer fingers for pollination.
So they pollinate by hand? So no bees, no insects?
No.
There's so many layers to vanilla, like, and it's just something you see on the supermarket shelf, and it's so much deeper than that. It's got such an amazing history.
Because it gets a bit of a bad rap, right? Vanilla's like boring, plain, you know. But
That's true, I never thought about that.
But 20 years ago, I never would have known that vanilla was going to be such a big part of my life.
I've got like a new appreciation for it, you know, and it's not just going to sit there next to the sugar now, it's going to be elevated. And actually, I'm looking forward to sharing this knowledge with our customers at the restaurant and with our chefs. Because, yeah, as I said, when I arrived here, my knowledge, I thought I knew a lot, but I actually knew bugger all. So thank you so much, it's been amazing.
Thanks, Ben.
It's funny here. I can't quite put my finger on it, but most factories seem, well, quite vanilla. But there's real heart here. This is a love story, a match made in heaven. The best vanilla in the world, grown in Tonga and turned into a product found in some of the best restaurants in the world. I've been blown away by my time in the Bay of Plenty. With the rich soil and warm climate, it's now time to translate my experiences onto a plate. Bay of Plenty reminded me of central France, driving through a super productive area. You've got the ocean there, you've got vineyards, you've got olive groves. It truly is the land of plenty. There's a really classic dish in French called poulet et homard. So it's basically a special type of chicken from Bresse in France and the blue lobster, the homard bleu from Normandy. And they combine these two ingredients, chicken and crayfish. It's like the French surf and turf. I had the chicken skin, I had the crayfish, then the summer truffles arrived. And then of course, late summer corn in New Zealand is super famous. So we paired 4 ingredients together to create a really dynamic and punchy snack for when people arrive at the restaurant. Next time I visit one of my all-time childhood heroes and taste what the glorious Wanganui has to offer.